Hello, it's me, Kev. We've got over 5,000 subscribers now. I hear that means we have to do a Q&A. That's the custom around these parts. I asked for questions last weekend. You lot have sent me about 100 of them. There's no way we're getting through all these. So I'm going to start a timer on my phone. There you go. I've started a timer. We're going to do this for 15 minutes and see how far into these we get. If we have to do another part to this, then it'll rely on likes. We won't do a part 2 unless we get over 200 likes on this one. Because I need to know that you're actually enjoying the Q&As if we don't get all the way through it. So before we start, just firstly, massive thank you. The channel's only been going 10 months. We already have over 5,000 subscribers. And in fact, we passed 5,000 subscribers last weekend, and we're already a quarter of the way to 6,000 now. So everything seems to be picking up pace a little bit at the moment and going mental, and it's all thanks to you lot. So thank you very much for the support. The Milan mission has been by far and away my most watched series I've ever done. You lot seem to be loving it. I'm really enjoying doing it, and I can't wait for FM17 and the other exciting stuff that is coming in the future, which I might tell you a little bit more about later. So I've got the YouTube comments in front of me. I know there were other questions that came in on Twitter and Facebook. If we get time, we'll get to them, but it's just easy for me to start going chronological order on YouTube. So the first one is from Rasmus. What or who got you into YouTube? There isn't really a who. There's not really a what. I've been podcasting for 6 years now, so I already had a microphone. I was already an internet show off, and I enjoyed doing it. And for years, Anna, my good lady, had been telling me that I need to get into YouTube. YouTube is going places, podcasting is dying, and I resisted for so long, and gradually watched the podcast subscriber numbers they've never gone down, but they've stopped increasing at the way they used to. We've been number one on the iTunes chart before, and that's not really happened for a little while. And I guess podcasting has become more a big corporation game. And I just got to the point where I thought, well, you know what? People have been telling me to try YouTube for a little while. Let's try this. I then spent 6 months trying to decide what to do on YouTube. When Anna just said, look, you play Football Manager every day, do Football Manager. I laughed, didn't believe it was possible to do, searched for it and found Dr. Benji, found Work the Space, saw that it was possible to do. People were actually watching people play Football Manager, and it was actually pretty entertaining. So I guess if we had to put a who, it would be those two, because they were the videos that I watched and studied and took notes on before I started, and just nicked all their ideas. So, you know, it's like a watered down version of a hybrid child of those two. So read into that what you will. Next question is from Rob Pete. What made you become a teacher? The holidays. Simple. Next question. Even more, Evan Moore is probably actually his name. Did you ever play football as a kid or a teenager? I did, but I wasn't very good at it. And my knee exploded when I was about 15. So I didn't play it much beyond that. Matt Monroe, what's the most rewarding thing about being a teacher? Did I mention the holidays? That's already come up. The holidays are pretty cool. Shane Andrews, outside of English football / soccer, what other leagues do you enjoy watching or following? Shane, are you new? None. I mean, even this outside of English football, I don't really watch English football apart from Posh. I'll watch the odd Premier League game on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday lunchtime, but it's only ever on in the background. I don't know who plays for who. I certainly don't watch other leagues. I'm not bothered about international football. It's just all about Posh for me, and everything else I know about football I probably learnt from Football Manager. Dylan Keenan, favourite FM. This one. Rakesh, do you like teaching? I do like teaching. It's not just about the holidays. I actually really enjoy the job. It's very cool. Andy Bask, least favourite FM. I don't know. They're all good. I play them all every year when the new one comes out. It's better than the last one, and I play it every day, and they just get better. So I guess the worst one would be Championship Manager 2, or FM05. Was that the first one that was Football Manager? But they were both great games. They're not. They're the ones that got me into all this. They're just the worst ones because they're the oldest ones, so they're not as good as any of the ones that have come since. Kmaster13, what's your favourite thing to do outside of YouTube? I like to play other games. I like to read comics. I like to collect Funko Pops and other little nerdy toys. I like my superhero movies, my superhero TV shows. I'm basically, I mean, you should be able to tell by the beard and glasses, I'm just a big nerdy loser. Nikki Afro, do you enjoy teaching? Yes, we've already covered that. And what do you actually talk about in the staff room? I don't go to the staff room. I like to hang out away from there because there's other grown-ups. Well, not other grown-ups. There are grown-ups in there. I believe it or not, I don't have a huge amount in common with teachers, so I try not to spend too much time in their company. I go and hang out in my office and read comics and play with my Batman figures that are on my desk. William Ekamar, I'm doing a computer science GCSE in September. How difficult is it? Depends if you already know how to program or not. If you don't know how to program, it's pretty hard. If you do know how to program, be all right. Another question from William Ekamar. What's my favourite formation? The 4-1-2-2, like the 4-3-3, the old Jose Mourinho Chelsea style 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder, 2 wide men, and a Drogba type up front. I like that, and I would love. I'm trying to do it with Milan at the moment, and I always try and do it. I never really get it working, but I like a 4-3-3. Jack Roden wants to know what was my favourite player in non-league to legend. Has to be the hero that was Vladislav Lazarov. We've got a few that weren't questions. We'll skip those. Laura Lee, what's your favourite game apart from Football Manager? That changes constantly. At the moment, it's probably Pokemon Go because I play that more than any other game apart from Football Manager. But I love the Telltale games. Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us were both excellent. I've just enjoyed the first episode of the Batman one. The Tales from the Borderlands was great. The Game of Thrones one was great. So I guess anything episodic, anything by Telltale. Life is Strange as well, which wasn't a Telltale one, but was another episodic story adventure type thing. I like all that. They're my games. Richie Payton says, well done. Thank you very much, Richie. Where's your question? Have you always been a fan of video games and comics since you were young? No. I'm a late bloomer in all this stuff. I wasn't really much of a nerd at all as a kid. I didn't really play games. I had games consoles, but only really played FIFA on them. I didn't read comics. I had Incredible Hulk wallpaper, so I was always sort of vaguely interested in it. But I used to just play a lot of football, and then when I couldn't do that anymore because of my knee, I played a lot of Football Manager. And it wasn't until probably my early 20s that I got into video games. In a big way, around the time the Xbox, sort of towards the end of life of the original Xbox, the early Xbox 360, being able to play online was the big thing that got me into games. I loved it. Was massively into games, and that sort of led me into this whole world of nerdery and fandom that has just led me down a rabbit hole that I'm still tumbling down. Comics has probably been a thing for 5 or 6 years now, but it gets worse. Depending on how you phrase it, the obsession gets worse. It holds me a little bit deeper all the time, and I'm movies. I never used to sit through movies, but I will now watch anything that's got a superhero in. So, and now I've got a house full of collectibles and toys. Which, if you'd have shown that to 18-year-old me, he would not have believed that because he was a jock, and now I'm a nerd. And I don't really know how that transition happened, but it did, and I think it's pretty cool. I much prefer this version of me to that version of me. Reese does gaming. Who's your favourite player and why? George Boyd, because he's the best player I've ever seen play for Peterborough United. German Eagle, what mostly surprised you in YouTube or out? I don't know what that means. No, next. Kevin Wojcik, worst FM save. I don't know. The bad ones don't usually last very long, so I don't remember them. Paul Dorrans. I know I'm racing through these, by the way, but there's literally like 100 questions, and I don't want this to be a 45-minute video. Paul Dorrans, what is the best FM save you've had outside of YouTube? It's the one that is mentioned in my About section on my channel. The one that I had that I documented on the Sports Interactive forums on FM09, where I started in the Swiss leagues, gradually made my way over to England, made my way up the leagues, became posh manager, ended up winning the Champions League, and it was just great. It was another sort of 25-30 season spectacular, and it was awesome. And I wish I'd been on YouTube back then, because it would have been a great thing for people to watch. Connor Sorensen, would you ever consider shaving off your beard? I might consider it. I probably wouldn't do it. The reason I have a beard, and the reason I haven't been clean shaven for at least 10 years, if not 15 years, is because I get horrible shaving rash. So I had facial hair before it was cool and hipstery, So probably wouldn't shave it off just because it would hurt, and then I'd bleed, and then I'd look ridiculous. Matt Quinney, did you try my margarita pizza with a full English on for breakfast yet? No, I didn't, because it sounds horrible. That came up in the 24-hour stream that we did last weekend, I think. I don't remember much of that at this point. Yerrell P, what is your true passion besides producing content and playing Football Manager? I don't know, all that stuff I said before. I know, passion's a weird word. Perhaps I'm a little bit broken inside. I wouldn't even say producing videos and playing Football Manager was a passion. It's just something I enjoy doing. Comics are things I enjoy doing. Going to posh matches I enjoy. My toys and stuff I enjoy. Even teaching I enjoy doing. Passion? Don't know. Overused word, I think. Onslow, what's on the FM17 wish list? To be honest, I would be more than happy if they just updated the database, because I think this game was close to perfect. But then I think that every year, and they always bring out something that makes it a little bit better. So I'll leave it in the very capable hands of Sports Interactive. Josh Ricketts, what was your first save you ever did on Football Manager? Oh, no, I mean, we're going back 20 years. No idea. It was almost certainly with Posh. But I don't remember. Apologies. Car Chuckle, your favourite FM save? That one we talked about before, where I started in Switzerland. TJW Gaming, what is your favourite ever Football Manager save? We did that one. Some people might sort of check through the questions in advance. Not me. Harry, here's both a request and a question. Would you ever consider doing a Pentagon challenge? No, I wouldn't. Oh, that was it. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't enjoy it. It wouldn't feel real to me. It doesn't seem logical. I would only ever start in England, he says, doing the Milan save. But no, if it was a long-term thing, I like realism. I would want to start in England. And if I was already a manager in England who'd won the Champions League for an English club, I don't understand under what circumstances I'd go and manage in Asia or America, to be honest. It just doesn't make sense to me. The whole idea of the Pentagon Challenge is a bit of a weird one as far as I'm concerned. Ghost Harvo, sorry, but I'm a Cambridge fan. Okay, move on then. Apparently he's got a question as well. If we ignore the nonsense from the first half of the question, would you rather have Cambridge relegated but Posh stay in League One, or have Posh promoted but also Cambridge promoted? Ghost Harvo, you're not our big rivals. Northampton are. I want to get promoted, and I'm completely indifferent to where Cambridge are. Northampton, on the other hand, that's a bit different. It is cute the way Cambridge think we're their big rivals, though. Tristan said, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, for what? Don't know. I don't do big muscly people. There you go. That, for once, one of my out of context quotes makes sense, because I genuinely don't do big muscly people. Ethan Alonso, vlog your next Posh game. No thank you, Ethan. Mainly because I don't think anyone would be interested in watching that. Let me know if I'm wrong there. Nickcock77 is again asking about my favourite save. We've done that. Twitch Bag, how much money did you raise in the 24-hour live stream? Nearly £1,000. It was awesome. All went to Macmillan. Very cool. Matty Deeks, what do other people think about your YouTube channel? Do you find it hard explaining the brilliance of FM and why people would watch you play a game? I don't know. I think people think it's pretty cool. My students certainly think it's really cool that I think they do, or they say they do anyway. They might just be blowing smoke, but who cares? I've got 5,000 YouTube subscribers. It's more than they have. I don't really understand that there are 5,000 people out there who want to watch me play Football Manager. I don't understand that every video gets, it'll be out for less than 24 hours and it hits 1,000 views. So there's 1,000 people who are waiting for me to put these videos out, and it still blows my mind a little bit. But then I guess it's because I'm from that older generation that doesn't really watch gaming on YouTube. So it's a different mentality, I guess. I've certainly watched it a lot more since I've been doing it myself. Frosty Power, do you enjoy the taste of plums? I do. Let me know in the comments. Does that mean something to you crazy kids? Because it comes up a lot on Twitch and it confuses me. Duncan McGregor, how good is the nut? He's a player I've got in my Twitch save. He's not very good. We all know that. Jacob P, when did you first play FM? About 20 years ago. And he's been around since I had 50 subscribers. Well, thank you for supporting me for all this time, Jacob. And the last questions, we're about to hit a 15-minute timer. Yagalut, if you were offered a football-related job at Peterborough in real life, not just as a manager, but potentially as a coach, scout, or assistant manager, would I take it? Realistically, only if they offered me considerably more money than I earn as a teacher, because I've got a family and stuff to think about, and I wouldn't just go off and do that. And obviously going into football, it's risky. People get sacked all the time. I know people who've worked in football, and it's so unpredictable, and the career can end in an instant, not just as a player, but in any part of the role. You just need the wrong manager to come in or the wrong chairman to come in, and you're done. So being in a job that pays well, has a good pension, has good prospects, has like a structured pay rise system in its future, I would need an extraordinary amount of money to throw that away. So fairly unlikely. If they did offer me the manager job though, I might take a year off for teaching, just go on sabbatical just to give it a try. I think my work would probably support me in that as well and let me do it, which would be really cool, but not for anything less than manager. I'm not crazy. And that is that. We are, I mean, I'm not kidding, we're only about halfway through all the questions. So if you want a part 2 to the Q&A, and bear in mind, full disclosure, I've not vetted these questions, they could all be repeats. But if you want a Q&A part 2, which I can put out next weekend, I need this video to get to 200 likes first, because I need to know it's something that you want, so we need 200 likes on there to make that happen. Couple of other bits to round things off. I've already given you my big thank yous and all that stuff at the start of the video, and I do massively appreciate it. And one of the questions that I am getting asked a lot that hasn't come up there because I've skipped it every time I've seen it, are my plans for FM17. And I can exclusively reveal that I have some. Specifically, my save for the FM17 beta is going to be, and this is as a result of the survey, which is now closed, so I'm safe talking about it now. We did a survey last week. You'll know about it if you watch the 5,000 subscriber video all the way through. You might be in it. I'll announce a winner of the game at some point, but in a landslide, getting nearly 40% of the vote, my FM17 beta save is going to be with Liverpool. And then once we get into the full game, so that'll run for a couple of weeks. Once we get into the full game, I'm doing another non-League to Legend style thing. So we're going to start at a club near my house that's not Boston. Usually it would be Corby, but they've been relegated. So I've consulted a map. The next nearest club after Boston to my front door is Gainsborough Trinity. So we're going to be starting with Gainsborough Trinity, and we're going to see where we go from there. I have been to Gainsborough Trinity before. There's a video somewhere on YouTube on one of my very old channels of me trying to climb over the wall to get into Gainsborough Trinity's ground. So there might be some old footage that I can reuse in here somewhere. Interesting. And that's about it. Once again, thank you very, very, very much for the support. I can't believe in just 10 months we've gone from nothing, no YouTube presence at all, no. I mean, it's not as if we came from a football manager background or a Twitch background, or I had a podcast that gave me a little bit of a head start, but I would say probably, I mean, again, the survey told me less than 5% of the people who currently subscribe came over from knowing me from previous stuff, whether it was from podcasts or real life or books or videos or whatever the sort of stuff I've done in the past. Most of you lot are here either because Work the Space sent you, or because you were just looking for Football Manager content and you decided to stick around, and I massively appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's going to continue for a long while yet because I'm having a great time doing it. So thank you very much for all that. Like I say, if you want a part 2 of this Q&A video, make sure you pop a like on there. We need to get to 200 probably by midweek, realistically. It's no good it ticking over on Saturday because I'm not going to record this on Saturday morning. So by midweek, we need 200 likes on there, and then I'll do a part 2 and we'll put that out next Saturday. Obviously, I guess you can throw more questions into the comments of this one if it looks like we're going to do a part 2, because you can never have too many questions, can you? Just try not to repeat the ones we've already had, because I will vet them a little bit next time, because we don't want to start getting repetitive with them. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Obviously most of you probably do, but if you don't and you've sat through 20 minutes of Q&A, that must be enough to convince you. And thank you very much for the support, and thank you very much for watching. Oh, and one more thing. We're going to be doing FIFA on the channel in a couple of weeks.